if data centers were human, they would be workaholics. Always awake, always online, and always overheating. They never take vacations, they never sleep. And the more we depend on them, the more exhausted they become. So think about it. They eat electricity, they drink water, and when they are stressed, they sweat a lot. But the only difference is when humans burn out, we go to see therapy. But when data centers burn out, we just retire the old ones and build new ones. And that's kind of problem, isn't it? We keep asking technology to do more, to think for us, predict for us, even create for us. But we never ask how it feels. Of course, it doesn't have feelings, but the planet does. That's why sustainable design is not about saving servers. It's about keeping your digital civilization healthy enough to keep serving us. Nowadays, we are surrounded by data centers. Every email you send, every photo you upload, every binge-watching night, somewhere a data center stays out late for you. Recently, data centers developed a new obsession, creating new things through generative AI like large language model or LLM and video generation. You've seen the viral ones, right? I've also tried a few myself. Look at this. It looks so real. We are amazed by the creativity of AI. But have you ever stopped to ask, what is the hidden environmental cost behind it? Using Llama 2 13B model as an example, one LLM request emits roughly 0.05 grams of carbon dioxide. Not bad. But when we move from text to video generation, boom, this number becomes 5 times higher. This number is still small. But imagine when millions of people doing the same thing, generating, regenerating, upscaling all day long, a mountain of burden. So generative AI is like giving the data center a second job and triple espresso. The way data center feel is actually the way our planet feels. Let's look at some numbers. Annually, the data centers consume 450 terawatt-hour electricity, and it's about 7 New York cities combined. And they drink 560 billion liters of water, and it is the equivalent of 224,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools. And they emit 180 million tons of carbon dioxide. And it's like putting 40 million cars on the road. So when the data centers overheat, that heat is not just theirs, it's also ours. It's our cities and our rivers that pay the bill. Now, if you look at the current locations of US data centers, you may find that the reality is not that promising. 3 maps show one thing. Some are bad designs because of the locations. Some data centers are located in the regions with high carbon and severe water scarcity. So when resources are already strained or dirty, no amount of efficiency inside the wall can fix what is happening outside of them. To better elaborate it, I will introduce 2 friends, Bad Dave and Good Dave. Bad Dave, who lives in Arizona, is hot, dry, and water stressed. Every day, he consumes huge amounts of electricity and water to stay cool. On the other hand, Good Dave, who lives in Finland, he takes advantage of the cold climate and nearby seawater to cool his servers naturally, without using a single drop of fresh water. And when renewable energy peaks, he starts to run his jobs. That's what good design looks like. So how do we make data centers sustainable? Here are some ideas we have been working on. So as for reducing carbon, one simple idea is that if a job is launched in a carbon-heavy region and another region has enough renewable energy sources, just shift the workload. That sounds smart, right? It also works. But the surprising part is reducing carbon can increase the water usage. Some clean energy sources like hydropower or nuclear power can be really water intensive. So carbon-aware scheduling alone is not enough. The solution is co-optimization. But carbon emissions, water usage, and water scarcity, these factors together make this problem extremely challenging to solve. So we built WaterWise to do something practical. WaterWise monitors the incoming parallel workloads and guides them to the right place, co-optimizing both carbon and water. Another aspect I want to discuss is how do we properly use our hardware for sustainable data centers? We all love buying new chips, right, for system upgrades, because they are smarter, they are stronger, they are faster, and most importantly, they are more energy efficient. So it seems like a greener choice. But here is something we often forget. When a new chip is born, it also comes with sustainability costs. So frequently buying new chips for upgrading your system is not always sustainable. If your data center is busy, running at high utilization, upgrading makes sense because newer chips do more work with less energy. But if your data center is half idle, upgrading just means more carbon for chips that spend their lives on the couch. So the greenest hardware is not always the newest. It's the one that we use wisely. Instead of constantly replacing your old hardware, what if we combine multiple generations of hardware together? You do not always need a Ferrari. Sometimes a reliable Toyota will do just fine. In computing, it's the same thing. Use cutting-edge chips for cutting-edge jobs, like training your AI models, and let older, capable hardware handle daily jobs. And this is exactly the idea behind our work, EcoLive, a system that intelligently makes multiple generation hardware for reducing the sustainability. I also want to share something important. Building sustainable data center is not just a job for the people who run and manage data centers. For example, I asked the LLM one simple multiple choice question: how old is the Earth? And LLM gives the answer, and it's accurate but heavy. So what if I insert a bit of briefness to change that prompt? This time, the answer becomes short, and that tiny little change can save around 30 to 50% of carbon and water. So everyone can contribute. Another example I want to share is, you might have the experience when the LLM keeps talking, and this is not what you expected, so you click that stop generating button. That impatience might also be your instinct for sustainability. Designing sustainable data center is challenging, and scientists are also seeking new technology for it. Just a few days ago, NVIDIA sent the H100 GPU to the space to test a new kind of data center. And this can save huge amounts of water. Sustainable computing still has a long road ahead. We need more people to join this effort, because the Earth is not just where our data centers live, it's also our home and it's our hope. Thank you.